We have a horrible society where you are only allowed to punish yourself if you are miserable, but not the sources of your misery. Let's say school wastes your time by making you attend an assembly you don't care about. Most school assemblies are about having a captive audience for different talent competition presentations and such. You are not allowed to boo the people performing. Otherwise, who is going to watch all these extracurricular activity performers if they don't create a captive audience by calling a school assembly? A kid who feels his time was wasted by an annoying assembly should be able to go into the school bathroom and scroll a death threat. But what if somebody puts a hidden camera into the stall, as already has been done in history? People have told me that you are not punishing the school by making a threat. You are punishing the people running the school, implying that somehow that's not fair. Basically, what you want to do with the death threat is punish the school, but the school is the people who run it, so yeah. But what if detection systems are so good that you can't do that? I guess you just have to put up with the school making you feel miserable. You're not allowed to punish anyone. The school assembly is a sanctioned event. All you can do is be miserable and have this misery harm your own health, both physical and psychological, but you can't transfer that misery onto anyone else by way of vandalism or criminal threats. People don't understand that the whole point of threats is to pass the misery on those running the institution that's harming you. When the state of California bans plastic bags in retail and replaces them with paper bags, if that makes you mad, there is nothing apparently that you can do. You have to live with your anger and the damage it's causing in your life. You can't punish the governor by threatening to kill him, even though he is responsible. How is that fair? What if you decide that you love yourself too much to be the only one who is suffering? I need to again invoke my James Grider book. He is obviously suffering in the beginning of the book. He is helpless to change any of the laws that upset him. He has to look forward to a fate where he is either dead or imprisoned. Now, when he obtains a way to push this misery back onto those causing it, or even onto random strangers, he is still miserable because nothing is changing really, but at least he can tolerate it better. He even gains the will to survive when he was suicidal. This is why people shouldn't go hard on social justice warriors. engaging in destructive rioting. The emotions that lead to that kind of rioting will wreak havoc on a person's physical health unless they are expressed through rioting. Society wants you to punish yourself rather than punish others, even those directly responsible for your misery. They will use these tools to ensure that this is the way it is. So if you're upset about the plastic bag ban, you can try to do drugs, drink alcohol, and bottle up your anger until you smash your own house to pieces. That's okay by society. Just don't hurt others. Hurt only yourself. It doesn't matter the source of your pain is from elsewhere. It's illegal for you to hurt that source. It's illegal for you to try to divide up the pain onto someone else. One can only speculate what would have come of James Grider in the book if he didn't gain a supernatural power. Would he end up on drugs as a way of trying to stifle his pain and anger? Would he end up an alcoholic? Would he commit suicide? Would he end up in jail? Would he end up overdosing at a rave in the redwoods? Because for him living would be unwieldy. How is he supposed to live if he can't do all the things that are illegal that he believes shouldn't be illegal? How do you live with a moral outrage like that? That's a story we need to write, where James Grider is transported by someone else's infocnal into an alternate dimension, into a body that is a copy of himself, and this alternate dimension is a copy of our dimension, and in that dimension the infocnal devices never existed, so he doesn't have them anymore. So then what becomes of him? Or maybe the first book ends with the fact that it turns out he was in a mental institution the whole time, and his entire rebellion is a fucking coma fantasy. It's all a question of how much do you love yourself. James does tell his adult girlfriend in the book that maybe 100 years from now her having sex with him won't be illegal anymore. So, does that make sense for you now, to give up a piece of your life by going to prison for having sex with the children? And for what? It's just punishing oneself for the greater good of others. This is the whole point of my James Grider novels. It's to give people something they can emotionally relate to, and these hypothetical situations are supposed to open their eyes where they realize, oh yes, my life does suck because of this or that. Yes, my life sucks because this and that is illegal. My life sucks because security cameras watch me. Yes, I am punishing myself when I should be punishing others, but I can't punish others because it's illegal. Yes, the system is not as fragile as it claims to be if you need some kind of magical device to subvert it, and even then it's impossible. This man punished himself by robbing the bank so he can be in prison rather than be with his wife? What if he could just murder his wife? Then he doesn't need to punish himself, but he punished himself for his problem and not his wife.